And Ali, who compiled that report, is here with me. And I mean, by any standards, it's a pretty extraordinary political career.
Yeah, it's not going to go down in history as one of the great tenures, I don't think. I think this was a premiership, as I was saying, that will be characterised by the extraordinary infighting, the chaos we've seen in the last 44 days, someone that had to completely row back on the economic vision that she was elected on. I think there is quite a lot to take in here because, you know, we're talking the next couple of years, more spending than had been expected, actually paid for largely by tax rises. And then after that, that's when you get the spending squeeze.
C'est la fin pour vous. C'est une base honorable. Marine Le Pen behind me has just come out again. We were right in the middle of this scrum trying to defeat her.
Si quelque chose vraiment va changer aujourd'hui, n'est-ce que c'est pas important que les Anglais soient là aujourd'hui?
While in Brussels, the Prime Minister will be meeting NATO's Secretary General amid plans to send 1,000 more troops to Europe.
Nonsense.
Yeah, that's right. So just explain to people what the Northern Ireland Protocol is again. I'm sure you've heard it again and again.
It's a bit complicated.
It is. I think to put it incredibly simply, this is a sort of system where Northern Ireland has one foot in the European and one foot in the British customs system, which has caused lots of trade disruption. That has angered the DUP. You have this all in sharp focus now because of what's going on in Stormont. Even some Tories have privately conceded Sir Keir's tactics were effective. He even forced this admission from Rishi Sunak.
Hello, good evening.
Go on with 40% of your MPs against you.
So, well, I think this is a very good result for politics and for the country. I do. Just in this sense, I think it's a convincing on those issues, and that's what we're going to do.
You say you want to focus on those issues. 148 MPs on your own side are against you. They're going to be dragging you through the mud. How can you possibly govern with those numbers? You really think that's a good result?
I do.
It's a good result.
I certainly think it is, because don't forget.
And as I was saying in my interview, this is worse than Theresa May. She had a more decisive victory and she was gone 6 months later. And at the time, Boris Johnson's allies were saying that she was a lame duck, saying that she couldn't carry on. So to see him, I think, buoyant, calling this a convincing victory, saying it had been a good night, I thought was quite striking. I thought
this is one of the Baltic states, right in the middle between Russia on one side, the Baltic Sea, and of course Belarus below, where we know Russian troops have been sent. It is a close ally of Russia's, and there is a real nervousness here. The government, so that they want to see more support from NATO, but of course diplomacy continues. Emmanuel Macron today. It feels like the momentum is almost moving more quickly this morning than it was yesterday afternoon. Clearly people, have had time to sleep on this, to think about what to do, and they are abandoning the Prime Minister. Every time I look down at my phone, someone else is gone. The Russians are getting ever closer to Kiev. We're joined once again by General Sir Richard Barrons. Let's talk about this convoy that we've been watching heading closer to the capital, and now it's dispersed. What's the significance of that? Ed Davey says they are coming for the Conservatives seat by seat, and you don't have to look far to find Tory MPs nervously watching on and wondering if their majorities will hold in a general election. It was an incredible comeback, but Rishi Sunak inherits an extraordinary in-trade. The shadow of COVID hanging over the economy, combined with this Truss's disastrous economic policies and political problems too. He may have got the backing of most MPs, but some still see him as a man who took down Boris Johnson.